your host, Samantha Stone. And we have two guests today. Mayor Scott Galvin, as always, is going to catch up on city business. And we have a special guest from the library, Megan, who's the assistant director there, is going to talk to us all about library happenings. Welcome, as always, Scott. There was a lot going on this weekend, giving out test kits and things. Everybody was
busy weekend, a good weekend, and a lot of football too. So it was a great weekend.
There was a lot of yelling. I was not in the same room as the football games happening, but I did hear it.
A lot of close finishes. It was disappointing that Tampa lost. I'd like to see Tom Brady. He made a great comeback, but well, maybe next year for the Patriots too. But yeah, the Saturday was really busy. The Board of Health and the MRC, they did a great job. They started off with a booster clinic and a first series vaccine for those who hadn't received. But the boosters really been well received. They did almost 200 boosters, and first time vaccines, they did about 15, I think. So that was really good. And then of course we did the rapid test giveaway. We had some extras, so we gave those away. We gave away about just under 1,000 kits we gave away, which there's 2 in a kit. And it was really, really well done. We had people pre-register, so there was no lines, no waiting. And I think people were happy with the way that it was handled. So it was nice to do that. And, you know, the test kits are good to get out there. We also let people know, and I think you do too, Samantha, that, you know, now there's an easy way to get them from the federal government. If you go to the website and they'll mail 4 kits. So there's definitely going to be a lot more availability. So that's one thing I think it's going to make people feel better about the situation. And you know what, I think we're peaking here. You know, our numbers have been they're still elevated, Samantha. You know, we still have quite a few cases, but I think, you know, with the way it's going, it seems like we're, you know, going to start heading down the backside and back to normal.
Yeah, I was reading an article this morning. I can't remember where it was in, but they were talking about the surveillance testing through sewer systems, which I know sounds rather unpleasant. But, you know, looking at people's poops tell us those things. Yep. And they were saying, and as a predictor of trending, you know, it's like a 2 or 3 week early predictor of trending. So it's, you know, we're optimistic about that, which is great.
That was encouraging. I agree. Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was really great. And I was really, the home tester greatly appreciated it. A household like mine that has 5 people in it living now, sometimes 6 over the holidays.
Yeah.
The access to those test kits the city gave out are really helpful. So really appreciate yourself and the Board of Health and everyone who worked hard to.
Good. Yeah, it went well.
Yeah. One of the things that you talked about football, so not quite the same football, but I know there's an active investigation, and I know that you know that, into some bullying incidents that happened at the school, and that the school has communicated to the community, and there's not a lot of communication in the last month or so on that. I think a lot of people were just kind of asking, are there any updates that can be shared? Are you connected to the prosecutor on this and feel comfortable that things are being worked?
Yeah, I mean, that's the DA's office and the police department, and there is, it's still an ongoing, and I don't have information to share. And you know, the nature of the case, you can't share. I know that the alleged victim or the victim, when he brought the information out himself, so you can do that. But the DA has, you know, laws that they have to abide by, and that's why there's not. They're doing their investigation, and that's where it's going.
Okay, thanks for that. I know people are curious and want to make sure that yourself and others in the city are monitoring it and making sure that progress is good. So thank you for doing that. I wanted to talk a little bit about the PFAS report. So December numbers were published, as we talked a little bit about last week, and the December was under the 20 threshold, you know, tiny little bit under, correct?
Yeah. We had, you know, 2 of the 3 were under, but the first November was like 27, I think. So
October. I think it was October. That was, yeah.
So
that was.
We're still slightly elevated. We're over the 20, so we'll be sending out another notice. We will be appearing in front of the city council on Tuesday to give them a presentation, you know, again about, and we plan on going monthly to the council, just to give them updates on where we are. But this Tuesday, we'll be down there to explain that we are over what testing we've been doing, just to refresh them, do a PowerPoint, and then also where we are as far as progress on construction. So there'll be a pretty in-depth update on Tuesday, which is, again, if your listeners here watches, they should definitely tune into the city council Tuesday, or even it's an open meeting, they can go to the council if they want more information. But again, we'll be posting on the city website. We'll be sending out another citywide letter to explain what's going on and where we are. But the water rebate program is moving along pretty well. We'll be sending out the first batch of checks this week on the warrant. So, it's a very, I think it's a fair, easy process for people if they do fit into those categories to apply for the rebate.
So I'm going to ask a really ignorant process question, Scott, and you'll have to forgive me for that. But why are we cutting checks? Why don't we just give a credit on the next water? Is there a logistics reason for it?
No, it's a very good question. Actually, one of the things we were concerned about is we do have a rental population in the city. And the renters, they don't pay the water bill, the landlord does. So we want to make sure the check got into the hands of the actual person who's buying the water. There's no guarantee it would have got there the other way.
That makes sense. Thank you for that clarification.
Yep.
I knew there was a good reason that we were doing that. So
it would have been easy, but that was the main concern.
Yeah, no, that's a very legitimate concern, and we certainly want that makes complete sense why we do that. So thanks I told you I hadn't thought through what it could be.
No, it's a good question, and we don't have all the answers, but
that one we do, which is awesome. I don't know if you have any information to share on this next topic. So we have John Wells coming in. We had some technical issues. He couldn't join us today, but I'm going to ask you, and if you can't answer it, we'll cover it another time. The schools have sent out a communication that talks about we're going to stop contact tracing in the schools, and families can opt into a home weekly testing process. And those tests will be sent home every 2 weeks, and they have 2 kits in it, and each student will be expected to test weekly and just report if there's a positive. Do you have any information about, I'm assuming that's being funded by Massachusetts DESE versus anything out of our.
That's right. So that's called, that's the at-home testing that DESE has started. Been in touch with Matt Crowley, John Wells, and we met between those two, the Board of Health, and that's why it's a good program. The tests will come from DESE, and it's they're trying to get all cities and towns involved in this. So 1 week the students will test, and the next week they'll send tests for the teachers. So it's a good process. They'll get a kit, and they kind of go from there. But that when you opt in, the city's opting in, and then we're hoping that the parents and teachers opt in as well. They'll do away with, we're not doing pool testing, but you do away with contact tracing. Also the test and stay program they'll be doing away with. So this is the process, and DESE's thought it through, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and for those who don't have college-age students, it's very similar what the colleges do. A lot of them have weekly testing that happens, in this case, on campus, and they have a little app that, in their case, they fill out and confirm I took my test and did their thing. And I know other facilities, a lot of nursing homes and healthcare facilities and other work environments are asking people to do weekly testing just as a way to be on top of things. And I'm assuming this takes a little bit of the burden off of the nurses in the schools who have been spending a lot of time having to do things like contact tracing.
It definitely does. And they have the nurses have a number of duties. COVID now is gone to the forefront, but they also have a lot of other, medications that they're required.
They had a full-time job before they had to.
They did, yeah.
Right?
So it will be helpful. And if children still have symptoms at school, they'll be tested as well, but it does certainly help. And I think it starts to get the city and all of us starting to move to the position that we're going to have to deal with COVID. We're going to have to live with it. And this is we all are hopeful and do believe that, based on what the CDC is saying, this Omicron is taking its course, and we have to find ways to to deal with this on a regular basis, adapt and do our get back to regular business, you know.
Yeah. Well, I know everyone is glad students are in school. So, well, I shouldn't say everyone. I'm sure there are people.
Oh yeah.
There are mornings when there are students who are not really excited about going back to school. Awesome. That's great. Anything else, Scott, that you want to cover before we wrap up your segment today?
What else do we have? No, really, it's just, you know, again, stressing that we'll be in front of the council on Tuesday for the PFAS. You know,
And vote, we got voting for the Northeast
that's right.
funding on
Voting is tomorrow, 11 to 6. So everybody get out and vote. It's, you know, it's their right to vote. Take it seriously. It's a big project, and I am definitely in support of the new vote. I think it'll be great for our students and for the opportunities that it presents for the children who aren't in school yet. So it's a good thing for everybody.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. For those of you who watched last week, I know I promised to talk about recycling flyers, but I failed to follow up with Scott or the Board of Health and ask to find out if they're printed. We talked about them being available online. So Scott is going to make sure that I don't have to remind him again, because my memory on it didn't hold up, and we'll have an answer for you next week.
And we can have somebody from the Board of Health at some point if you want to talk about recycling and the different things. That'd be good.
Always glad to have them on. And I know they've been really, really, really busy, more than usual, but always welcome to have them on if they want to take a break from the craziness they go through.
And we'll keep you posted of the next booster clinic as well.
Thank you so much, Scott. Really appreciate it.
Okay.
Megan, we're so excited to have you on. Megan is the Assistant Director at the Woburn Public Library. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. This is awesome.
So I have no idea what an assistant director of a library does. I know you're very busy and there's a lot that goes on, but for those like me who aren't familiar with the position, tell me a little bit about it.
It's a little different at each library, but basically what I do here is manage the day-to-day staffing affairs within the library. So that's a lot of scheduling, but also like being the project manager on different projects that go between departments and coordinating between the staff. A lot of times staff are tied down, so it makes it easier to improve communication if you have someone who can coordinate between everybody.
That's fantastic. A lot of juggling, I'm sure. So yeah, great. So tell us a little bit about some of the programming that's happening right now that has you excited and has the staff excited.
Absolutely. We are very thrilled to be announcing the relaunching of our makerspace. So we're going to have a ton of programs in February. We really want to get it out there. We want to get that service back in the community. So we're going to be having a couple of open houses where basically we invite people to come in, see how, like, we have 3D printers, we have a Cricut, we have a laser cutter, and we want people to know what resources are available to them. We're going to show you how to use it. If you can watch something being 3D printed, or we can show you how to do it yourself, or we are also accepting people can submit 3D print jobs starting today. So you can either submit one ahead of time and watch it be printed, or we can print it for you in the background. And so we're very excited to have that opening again. We have a fiber arts club that meets in the makerspace the first Monday of every month. So I'm really excited about these programs.
Oh, that's fantastic. I took a sewing class one time that was really, really fun. And I loved seeing how busy and excited a lot of people were using the 3D printer and the laser cutter and things. And, you know, it was just so fun to see everybody doing that. So I'm thrilled that that's back up and running. Thank you for sharing that good news with us.
Yeah, and then we've got some other programs going on that I think are pretty exciting as well. We're working in conjunction with the Babson Library and 4 other libraries to do a series of programs about financial literacy. It's geared towards people ages 18 to 25, basically to teach people who are new to adulthood or people who are just getting started in life and who are earning money for the first time, hopefully, or hopefully that they're earning money. So basically how to manage their money. And this is a program sponsored by the Library Foundation. And I think it's a really useful program. So there's 4 of them. We had our first one last month. It went really well. So we're having 3 more coming up. I think it's the first Tuesday of every month.
I love it. I love seeing that because it is something that's really important for people to learn. Let's talk a little bit about programming. So there's a lot of things. I look at the calendar now. I see lots of return of young children programming, which is fantastic to see happening in the library. We're starting to see some of the adult programming or older teen programming return, which is fantastic. There's a couple of groups, particularly sort of the 8 to preteen age children. We haven't seen as much on the schedule. Do we have that coming back in more frequency, or is that not on there intentionally?
Oh, no, absolutely. It's been our children's department, our teen departments, they're everybody's got their feet to the ground and running. Like they are doing everything they can. We are prioritizing programs over just about everything. We are doing our very, very best to get them out there. So I know our teen librarian is doing a couple different book clubs. She has her teen anime club that meets once a month. So they'll read like a manga book and talk about some anime. They started an LGBTQ plus book club. So that happens, and that's accessible to a lot of different age groups. And so, yeah, and the children's programs are also offering for older children as well. So there's definitely, we're always increasing the number of programs that we have, and we're always trying out new things, but no, the goal is to get programming for everybody as much as possible, as soon as possible. And that's an ongoing goal.
I really appreciate it. We've got 2 big things happening in February, which is right around the corner. Actually, January seemed to fly by. We have Valentine's Day, of course, and Black History Month. What's the library doing to celebrate both of those?
Well, a fun thing we're doing for Valentine's Day is something called Blind Date with a Book, where some librarians are offering our favorite staff picks, and we're wrapping them up in paper so they're anonymous. We'll put something like the genre on it, and it's a bit like the dating game. So there's the screen behind you, Bachelor 1, 2, 3, and you're going to pick the book that's right for you. And we want to know how you enjoyed the book. So there's a bookmark included on it as well. So you can fill out the bookmark, and we're going to have a poster here in the library. You can add your bookmark. Let us know how the date went. We're also having some 3D, I think there's a craft in the makerspace. We're going to use a Cricut machine, which I'm not sure if everybody is familiar with the Cricut machine, but it's basically like going with a sewing machine where you go from hand stitching to actually using machine to get much more exact cuts. You can do the same thing, like instead of going with scissors, you can use a Cricut to get more exact lines. So it can really make a lot of pretty things. So we're going to be doing some Valentine's crafts with that. And for Black History Month, we're having a program on Saturday the 19th called Paint Like Alma Woodsy Thomas. I admit I hadn't heard of her before, but she is an excellent African-American artist. And I was looking at some of her work today, and it is beautiful. Very colorful and very like a little bit of pointillism, but a lot of lines. And it comes together and it makes something really beautiful. So we're going to be doing something like that. The Teen Anime Club is going to be focusing on authors of color in the industry, and the book that they're covering is going to be by LaShawn Thomas. He is the creator of Cannon Busters and Yasuki, which are both Netflix series, and they're going to go more into what it's like for people of color in the industry. And so we're going to do some more programs like that.
That sounds great.
And I will say, if you go on our website, we're always posting the programs that we're doing, but we're always adding more and more and more. So even if you check this week, check again next week, because I guarantee you there'll be more programs on there.
That is fantastic and really appreciate it. And I'm kind of excited to check out a new artist that I haven't heard of before. That's my favorite way to find someone new. So I can't wait to see that. One of the things that we know is the library hasn't been open on Sundays for quite some time. That's not new, but it is a day that a lot of people, families, working professionals who work during the week, people work weekends also, but there's, it's a day that I know a lot of people would love to be in the library, have the library open. Is there anything is there a path to making that happen? Is there some set of things that could reopen the library on Sunday, or is it just a resource constraint that we're not going to be able to address this year?
I wish that was a topic that I could really help you out with and discuss, but I'm afraid that's a better question for Hermaine. You would really want to talk to the director about that.
Yeah, no worries. We'll have Hermaine on and we'll chat about that sometime. That's great. One of the things that I think is really important for a lot of people at the library is just to keep track of what's happening. So you've talked about a whole bunch of programs. I'm assuming the calendar on the website, is that the best way to stay informed, or are there other ways that people should be checking in?
Yeah, so there's the calendar on our website. That's usually like the golden rule. But we tend to post up and coming programs to Instagram. I know our children's department sends out a weekly newsletter. So we also put it out there as well.
Excellent. Well, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for catching us up on all the good, important, fun things that are happening at the library. Anything else that you want to throw in there before we wrap up today that I forgot to ask about?
I don't know, but I'll throw out there that I know you've raised some excellent questions about like what's going on here and if there's anything that anyone else is looking for the library to offer them, we are all ears. So if there are programs that you feel we could use more of, or you'd like to see more of something, let us know. And the best way to do that would be to email the director, which is just librarydirector@cityofwoburn.com. Let us know, and we'll try and incorporate more of it into the agenda. We're all on board with doing as much as possible.
Well, thank you so much for spending time with me today. Really appreciate it. Very exciting things that are happening at the library and across the city. And as always, Woburn, please continue to take good care of each other.